We have a question dealing with standard deviation. These are not the most typical questions to see on the test. Standard deviation maybe gets tested once a test, but we have to know it. Obviously, we want to get as many questions correct as possible. So what is a standard deviation? Well, it's a measure of variance from a mean. And so one standard deviation is a measure of how far in each direction a population of numbers varies from the mean. And typically in a perfect bell curve, one standard deviation is going to cover, I believe, around 68% of results. And then two standard deviations is like 95% of the population. And then three standard deviations is 99% of the population. But basically, it's a measure of how much we expect things to vary from an average value. And if you want to learn more about standard deviation, check out our video on standard deviation. But for the purpose of this question, we just need to know how to use standard deviation and not how to calculate it. And you will never actually have to calculate it on the test. But a standard deviation is simply the addition of the standard deviation or subtraction of the standard deviation from the original mean value. So one standard deviation in either direction would be a distance, would give us points of 15. This is one standard deviation below, and 27, which is one standard deviation above. Now, when we say one standard deviation, we mean calculate it in both directions separately using that same number. And two standard deviations below is going to give us a point of 9 because we have 21 minus 6 is 15, and then 15 minus 6 is 9. So if we have a distribution and we know that the result is going to be between 1 and 2 standard deviations below the mean, then that answer must be between 9 and 15. And the only option that is between 9 and 15 in our answer choices is the number 12. And that is why our answer is answer choice D.